And no one can actually be their perfect idealized version of themselves, otherwise they would already be that. So it's kind of really hard to play that. In my case, I was like the spy mistress of the rebellion, I think. And my enemy was Rio, because she was the spy mistress for like the normal kingdom place.
Everyone played themselves except Blue?
No.
It was it was what you would want to play. Like,
you sent in your survey and then you got it back.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah,
and
like
for me, I can't actually be a spy person without. I was not an SPC, which means I was supposed to do all this like spy mistress stuff without much input, which was difficult. And in the end, I ended up advising my person over and over not to go and fight the other person, because I thought that we would totally get slaughtered, or it would basically be a bad outcome if we actually engaged in outright war instead of like this Cold War that we had going on. However, flow, we learned afterwards, was that they were supposed to fight one another. Who knew?
Other thing about Epic that didn't work was that everybody actually got stunned to watch the cutscene.
Yeah.
Yeah. That brings up another, man, I feel kind of bad bashing Epic so much.
I know what, you can bash Black Honor. I give full permission because it'll allow me to
Later,
okay.
Actually.
Okay, excellent.
Although that was really just one thing getting out of control.
Yeah, one thing at the very end is... yeah.
Okay. So, other problem, I think I'll just put this in the context of in general, even although it did happen in Epic, so it's more an general thing. Resist the temptation to be the hero of your game. It's good to have a bad guy at the end who is brought down. However, optimally, you don't have one person doing that. You have
all
people. The majority of the players doing that. Or it can work if it has worked in the past that you that the flow is concentrated around one person, like Awakening is a good example of this. But the point is always to make sure that everyone is heavily involved in the game's conclusion, bringing it about. Like, they need to do their part. Yes, Stephen?
A good way to work on flow is not so much try and write events for the people to do, but rather overarching goals. An example of this is Uber 2, where, Nolixul 2, sorry, Nolixul 2, where the main goal of the majority of the PCs and SPCs was to go off and find Ozer and awaken him, and then fight him or do whatever they wanted with him. It works a lot better if you give everybody a goal to work to, rather than trying to force them into events which they may or may not actually get into because of things that are happening.
Yeah, Nolixul 2 was actually, the flow was basically a Xanatos gambit on my part.
Yes.
In that, several player character teams were attempting to make something happen. That is to say, they wanted to bust into Ozer's tomb. There was one team that was trying to stop them, which created tension by slowing down the process and making it a challenge. Did you ever? The point of that is that the flow was sort of a bulb. It spread out in different possibilities. Basically, who awakens Ozer. But once Ozer gets awakened, the same things happen from that point, just affected by what happened before.
Yeah, but that's easier to control.
It's actually harder. It's actually harder than you might, I think. That flow did have some problems. Like I used too many objects, and Brian hid one of them.
Oh yeah,
Slightly.
didn't also like Paranoia hide himself away so effectively that nobody could find him?
Yeah, I think I was missing 2 objects actually. Side note regarding improvisation within flow. Fun fact: something is going to go wrong with your flow, even if you write it right.
This is what I was about to
So, which is why.
Example of that. That kind of ties into the other thing.
Which is why, a few of my tales that I'm most proud of in West Finding and game writing are improvising awesome endings from flows that went awry. More on those later. The short example of it in Alxel 2 was pretty simple. I needed 7 artifacts for Ozer to awaken. I was playing Ozer FYQ. So a bunch of people brought like 5 out of the 7 artifacts to his prison, and it was getting near time that I should probably awaken. And I was hearing there were problems with finding the remaining 2. And I mean, everyone was nearby the prison. So I figured, you know what? Screw it. Close enough. Proceed to attempt to mind control everyone, followed by epic battle for the fate of Melxanul. Good times.
And I got your wings.
I lit rebellion.
Oh man. Funny thing, this was a bit earlier in my West Finding, and a bit earlier in my West Finding, and actually being in SPC years. I hadn't SPC'd very much. This is my first time being a big bad. So there were a lot of things that I had trouble with. I wasn't sure if I could completely make the experience of being all intimidating and stuff. Also, some people stabbed me, so I took off my armor, put it on Erin, and started mind controlling her to be a villain and stuff. Well, also flying around and mind controlling other people to join the Ozer taking over the world movement. So a couple of people got to be the big bad, or the body of the big bad, and that was hella fun. And in conclusion,
Was that a knock?
I think that was a knock.
Yeah.
in conclusion, we'll get the door in a sec.
I would, but
My favorite death, by far, probably, there might be some others. Yeah, my favorite death, definitely, was being Ozer and being sealed in the Brick of Stability by a ragtag team of heroes and brigands. Okay, that is enough reminiscing.
Okay, I was going to go into a couple
Yes.
very quick things. One example of flow will go awry no matter what you do, so try to figure out some sort of backup, is chord.
Yeah.
For the most part, chord went well until I accidentally killed too much of the PC team when I was chasing them. Whoopsies. And so they didn't really have time to set up their, like, me stopping device. So I was wandering around being like, where are they? What?
It should also be noted there was a group of 3 people who were pretty much comic relief. Our leader had never been to a game before. Our second in command had been to maybe 1 game before and didn't really understand to do plot. I was the only one with experience, and I was playing the mentally retarded kid. And we came across the most important plot device in the entire universe's history.
Yeah. So that
Standing on a
really
tree trying to play a violin.
worked out well. And then at the end, the like super-powered weapons that were supposed to stop me were given to 2 people, Devin and Lucas, who decided to be hippies at the end of game and just stand around and not take any damage and not fight back.
Dude, I transcended my corporeal form. I thought I was over there getting mangled, but it was really cool.
So that was a bit frustrating. In the end, I guess they somehow defeated me because they got the super-powered rocket launcher that came
Yeah,
out
I think,
of
I think some reinforcements showed up.
So
Like, he was using a monster axe as also a guitar. That worked.
that's one way that flow will go wrong. Like, no matter what you do, players will not act the way you intend them to. So try to figure out ways to work around and with that. And last, really quick, one way in which flow actually went well, because I made it go well, and it turned out really awesome, was Awakening. Because, as the big bad, Jenna was scheduled to defeat me, and then there, like, Ben and Greg would come in and time stop and set up the ending cutscene. However, after Jenna defeated me, I looked around and Ben wasn't there. And he kind of needed to be there to set up the end scene. So I went down and realized he was still watching a battle between people and certain fears. So I came back. People were sitting around the table, debating what to do now that they realized the situation they were in. Sat down behind Jenna, took off my spirit costume, and said, "Did you really think you could get rid of me that easily?" So we had a second, more epic shouting match. And then she shouted me down and defeated me, and then Ben was there on time. And everything ended well.
Bam.
Excellent.
So, try to find SPCs who are willing to do what they have to do to make sure flow continues as it should. And enable them to do what they need to do.
Another example of this was Uber. What happened was, I don't even understand why. I was the big bad. I was the Reaper King, the person who they were all supposed to fear and defeat in the end. However, just before the ending, everybody came to me and it's like, yes, you have defeated everybody. You're our king. You're our king. You have won, and like stuff. And I'm like, what? That wasn't supposed to happen. So I had to concoct an ending of some sort and get them to fight me. It was cool.
So you kind of just said that, as I recall.
Yeah.
More or less.
I'm like,
It worked.
I'm like, what? No. You're wrong. You're all supposed to kill me now. And then they did. Very, very thoroughly. It was excellent.